It's TA with MK. It's TA with MK. Gents and ladies, no time to waste. Don't be afraid, it's time to trade. Let's start your brains like high-speed trains. Storm these games like hurricanes. It's time to save this herd that stays. Put on your cape and learn the phrase. It's TA with MK. It's TA with MK. Should have practiced this before I started, but let's go. Welcome back to another episode of TA with K.
Reggie? There are all vowels left, Reggie.
W.
I hope you're feeling as rambunctious as I am today. I mean, you should. Bitcoin went up 0.5%, which is the biggest move it's made in 36 years.
He's going the distance. He's going for speed.
Seriously, some days you gotta ask yourself, would it be easier to just sell Mary Kay? Wait, excuse me, ma'am. Can I interest you in a vermilion lipstick? Hey, I'm just joking. It's never been a better time to be in crypto. You know that. If you're liking the content, please remember to like and subscribe. We're going to dive into some Bitcoin analysis and cover a few coins I'm watching. Let's go. Crocky, mate. This is Bitcoin on the 1 hour chart. It's in its natural environment. Shh, we don't want to scare it. Sorry, terrible impression. Shout out to Steve Irwin. Rest in peace, brother. Now this is the Bitcoin 1 hour chart. Still nothing too exciting going on here. On the 1 hour chart, at least, it has pushed above the moving averages. This blue one is the 200 EMA. The yellow one is the 200 SMA, so the simple and the exponential. And then, of course, all these little ones down here, the whites are the 21s, and the pink and red are the 50s. So on the 1 hour, it's making some progress. However, if you look back here, what was this? Just literally yesterday, basically? Not even yesterday. Earlier today. Early this morning. Depending on where you live. Anyway, it already peaked its head once above here. And, yeah, got pooped on. Bull trap. Came back down. Tested here. So now we're over here trying again. Question is, are we going to get another double top? I've been saying, or I said yesterday's video, I even put out a tweet a little bit ago on my Twitter account, that to me, this level of about 40,000 to 40,300 is what we really need to break above. Otherwise, I expect more downside, at least back to this trend line. I mean, it's not a real valid trend line yet, but it could, put in another higher low before it makes one more attempt to break out. That could see us go back down and test like 38,800, which is not much of a move at all. But if we were to lose that, then I would expect us to at least come back down here to like the 37K-ish range. Retest some of this stuff down here that we've tested once, twice. But for the bullish side, what we need to see is we need to see this break above this red zone I have here and retest it as support. I would mark down or write down 40,300. To me, that is the key level we need to get above to see some continued upside. All right, now we're going to zoom in on the Bitcoin daily chart. Just wanted to point out that if you don't think these EMAs hold any value or weight, this should kind of show you otherwise. Now, these 21s are coming together. This is the EMA, the thicker one, right here, and this one's the SMA. And like I've said in previous videos, the EMA, this one up here, just puts more emphasis on recent price action. So you'll see it sometimes go up and down more often than the other one, which is obvious here because it went up faster here, went down faster here. It just reacts to the moves quicker than the other one does. But right now, they're both together. Yesterday's little pump where we almost got to 40K, 37,600 up to 39.8. It got rejected, sure enough, right at those 21 moving averages. And again, today, those are acting as overhead resistance. So that's kind of on the daily chart, the first thing that I would be looking for. We've got a couple hours, about 2 more hours before today's daily candle closes. To be bullish, to me, we need a daily candle body. So the body of the candle is obviously this portion right here. These wicks don't matter as much to me on a daily chart as far as the closes go. We need to see that close above these 21s. If we could close above like 39,800 on a daily candle, then I would at least expect us to come up here and test, the $40,000 to $42,000 range that I've spoke about in yesterday's video. But until then, it is just a chop freaking suey, right? This is the Bitcoin dominance chart. I like to go over this briefly every day. And we've been tracking this parabola that's been kind of forming on the 4 hour. A parabola is just basically this rising channel that's putting in a series of high, higher high, higher high. This right here was actually a double top temporarily, but it didn't put in a lower high, so that's still bullish. This is a low, a higher lows, right? Now, this pattern from a percentage standpoint has a 68% chance at some point breaking to the downside. And I mentioned in yesterday's video that that's what we want to see, or what we're waiting and hoping to see for some good altcoin movement. Because as we know, if this is trending down, Bitcoin dominance that is, that's good for altcoins. And if it's trending up, that's generally bad for altcoins. So we're watching this just to see, is it gonna go up and test this trend line one more time? Not a whole lot's been happening. It's more or less been going sideways for the last 24 hours. Little pump, little dump, little pump. So we'll keep an eye on that. Now here's EGLD, or Elron, that we've been tracking off and on for the past week or two, really, but I mentioned it in yesterday's video. And what I mentioned yesterday is I was looking for it to break above this trend line, and at that point you could either enter on a potential higher low. So let's say you get something back down here around 140. If Bitcoin's looking somewhat bullish or at support at that point, I would say that would be one entry idea. The one that I mentioned yesterday, and it's actually the one I'm watching for at this point, because if you zoom in kind of and look at this wick right here, ironically, it got, not ironically, but it got rejected at exactly the point where I mentioned yesterday was going to be heavier resistance at around 160. What we need to see as one entry option anyway is to break above that, retest it, flip this area as support, because if you zoom back out, you can see it's been, you know, resistance here and here and here recently. So we need to flip that as support before we can expect any sort of a move higher. So that's two different entry options. You can get a pullback to this point of control on the daily, maybe even front run it a little bit at around like 141. That's entry option number one. You could go like 15 or 20% there. Not financial advice, but that's kind of what I would do. Or option two is the break of the 160 and the retest, and you can go, you know, 15% at that point. And we'll keep an eye on that. No real update on XRP. It's just been kind of going sideways, consolidating after its last move higher with the bullish SEC news. Like I mentioned in yesterday's video, I'm going to leave this thing alone unless I can see it break above and then reconfirm around 80 cents as support. I guess the other entry option would potentially be if it comes back down to this support level at like 61 cents. I don't see us getting that pullback unless Bitcoin takes a larger dump, and we'd probably be reassessing the market a bit at that point anyway. So I'm going to leave this one alone for now, but I will keep you updated if I see any new developments on it. Woohoo! Now I'm over here on top of my tower, so to speak. Just kidding. Terrible joke. Now, this next coin we're going to go over, or the last coin I'm going to go over, is a different one that I haven't mentioned yet, but I was just looking at its chart last night when I was laying in bed, and it was looking like it's developing into a potential trade. Tower, I believe, is a play to earn. It's a gaming coin, a metaverse coin. If I'm wrong, comment in the comment section, let me know. I could have looked it up, but I was more interested in its chart. So what I was noticing here is that previously in its history, I kind of like, if you've been a subscriber to the channel for a bit, I like to look for patterns that mirror each other. I like when price action seems to be setting up and doing similar things that it's done in the past, and I like buying at support. So if we pull out our trend line, we had kind of a little bit of a falling, wedge or channel or something, back here. But the thing that I was keying in on is the 21 moving averages, the exponential and simple, were acting as resistance back here, this entire downtrend. It was able to peek its head above them, and then it kind of got compressed, a little bit bigger move, but eventually it flipped the 21s as support. But while doing it, it flipped it the first time, it put in a high, then it put in a higher high. But then it came back down here, tested the support zone one more time, and then went on like a 300% run. Now, again, I'm not expecting it to do that exact same thing, but I like seeing that it's back down here near this same level of support that it previously was using to catapult its run. It's got this trend line holding it back currently, but lo and behold, look at the 21 moving averages, resistance here, here, peaked its head above here, but resistance, and right now they are what is holding Tower down. Now, what I'm looking for is, can it break the 21s? Let me clear some of this crap I got on the chart real fast. Can it break the 21s and either retest them as support? That would be a good entry option. An even better entry option, or safer, I should say, would be if it could break this level up here at around 0.024. If it could break and flip that as support, that would be a good entry. Obviously, another thing we look for is double bottoms or higher lows. So right now we have this low. Can it break out of this trend line? and either double bottom here, one here, and then that'd be a good entry for a potential ride up to here. Because even just that move, if it breaks out and goes up to that zone of resistance, you're looking at a potential of around a 30% move. So Tower's one that's on my radar. I'll keep you guys updated on Twitter, and I'll do a follow-up with it tomorrow. Now keep in mind, none of these coins I've mentioned today that I've entered yet. Not financial advice, you don't have to follow me anyways, but just want to be very clear that Bitcoin is the driver, it's at resistance, and as I said in the beginning of the video, it will determine if and when I enter any of these coins. And that is it for today's fun video. If you're liking the content, please remember to like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it, and we'll catch you tomorrow. It's TAWITHMMK.